Alright, welcome everyone to today's video. Got a special one here for you today, as something I don't normally do. Done it a couple times, but I had a couple games that I was just really having so much fun with that I wanted to share them here. So I'm doing a game replay of myself versus the first of two opponents here, as I'm going to be recording a couple here in this format. And just going to offer some commentary about some of the big moments in the game here. Going to fast forward through at certain points, just through some of the dull moments and get into the action right away so you guys can just see the big moments and analyze that a little bit. Just kind of keep it short and sweet here. So, well, I'm going to go to the all reveal map, so that way I can show you guys what's going on here. So, what's going on here? So, to open the game, something I've been doing recently is the triple scout opening. Train 2 right away, and then start pumping out villagers. And what I like to do is, I'll send one scout to the edge of the map, and then send the other two kind of in other directions, so I can kind of go around the edges, and then work my way in, so I can make sure I see kind of if there's any barriers, mountains, forests on the side. This is a mega random map on the Taiga Winter biome, so these kinds of maps are my favorite because you just see all sorts of weird, interesting map layouts that you would never see with some of the ranked maps. One thing I thought was really interesting here, one of my scouts here was scouting out the northwest portion of the map, and there was this small cliffside, this bluff, which is wide enough that you could put several barracks along the entire line, or farms or houses, some sort of either production or economic buildings to kind of hide away either a piece of your economy or production away from the enemy's touch. That was something I was thinking about here in the early game. Now, things went a very different direction, but I wish that you could save specific maps, because this is one right here that I would love to see something like that again. I know Mongolian Heights has similar things to that, but it's interesting when you've only got one of those on the map that's sort of its own little hideaway. Just something that I found interesting, really. Scouts, again, on the edges of the map, seeing what's going on there. So, yep, just getting it all scouted out, and I'm going to start fast-forwarding here, since there's definitely some dull moments here in this part of the game. My opponent, one thing you'll start to see come out here that they really invested heavily into wood, was going hard on that forest to the east of their base, and gathering up sheep, and since I got a majority of the sheep with my triple scout, they had to go for a different food production, and what you'll start to see here is they build farms all around the edges of their town center, and that was a really reliable food source for them, which, very interesting. So, and one thing I point out as well here, back in my base, you can see I've got all those sheep, I've got the berries getting finished off, gold right next to the Aachen Chapel, all these resources in that influence range, making it really easy to boom up to castle, which is exactly what I went for. Right at about 8 minutes in, I'd sent a few stray villagers down to the southern portion of the map near this lake, and building wooden palisade walls and then getting the Burgrave Palace started. And that definitely came in handy later. So also I built a house to the north next to the sacred site, because I thought about using the barracks trick on that bluff for a sneak attack, but that never happened. So the scouts went out, started mass training prelates. Those will start coming out in about a minute here. So, and yeah, as I was, well, okay, I see, I'm actually a little bit ahead here. So as you can see, these prelates, I trained 5 of them, and I'm just gonna minimize that message there. And right as my prelates were arriving back to my base, the enemy was arriving for a sneak attack with a huge army of longbows and spearmen. 25 at this stage in the game is a pretty sizable army to deal with. It's very hard to counter that. Plus you got catapults, but so I've got my monks here, or my prelates, who are right as I'm getting towers planned out and about to start building a monastery on the east of my town center. They open fire, and the prelates just immediately get killed off. And then there's 5 relics in my base that are just sitting there, useless. The gold mine has been attacked, villagers are gone. Tried a conversion unsuccessfully as they all die. And the enemy has battering rams at this point in the game. So when I'm going to go to 2 times speed here, they're firing off on the mill. They've killed the villagers that were on sheep. So I go full bore on food production. Or, I'm sorry, wood gathering, because that was the only safe resource in my base at this point. Getting a bunch of towers up, sending a few rogue villagers to get some stone at one point. You'll see that mine over there. You'll start to see some villagers venture out that way in a moment. They kill off the Aachen Chapel almost immediately as they get some archer ranges onto the field. And, it wasn't doing me too much good anymore since I was forced off of gold. I used the few villagers that built the Burgrave Palace to gather gold elsewhere. So kind of diversifying the resources while training units, as many as I could, but then had to halt that production as my base was definitely under siege here. And, the first ram rush successfully defended against that. More rams coming into the base. You see this one attacking the town center. And, yeah, that was... it was getting real tough, using villagers to repair the town center, and then garrisoning them inside so they can kill off the longbows, kill those archers in the back. Meanwhile, my enemy, tons of gathering of wood from different forests in his base, got the council hall, got gold mine with steady production, food out the wazoo, just doing great in his own base. Completely unaware that I had built the Burgrave Palace, hadn't even scouted out that area, had no idea that I was there. So that did serve to my advantage. The town center doesn't quite go down, as my villagers were able to hold off the longbows on a second ram rush assault, repair the town center back up to where it's no longer on fire, killing off a ram, getting a second town center built, and getting a couple more monasteries onto the field. So, and then just getting prelates out there trained, gathering up the relics just to steal that extra gold income, to try to get some upgrades at the blacksmith here, trying to get fitted leatherwork for extra melee damage and getting extra range damage with balanced projectiles. So, really just trying to get that extra income to really offset the harmed economy. Doing a farm transition in the back of my base behind the line. That was serving to the advantage. The enemy had a longbow here, scouting it out. Very smart idea, getting a sense of what's going on the backside of the line here. And I'm going to slow it down now, because this is where things really start to get kind of crazy. We'll go 2 times speed. But still training soldiers at the Burgrave Palace now that my food production was back underway. Steady gold income from the relics and things, and able to start getting upgrades just one after the other, which is really helping with the military units here. Prelate, another one getting killed by the longbows. Can't quite grab that 5th relic, but still have it in my control. The rams coming through, battering down that first town center, taking it out of the equation. No real way to stop them because my army was out of the way. The villagers were busy farming, gathering resources, also getting focused down by archers to their, what would be my west. If I scoot over to the right side of the map here. And that first town center does go down. Villagers get canceled. Second town center under assault. No new villagers getting trained at this point as those go down. And, I've got tons of towers with the arrow slits to take care of the archers, but unfortunately against the battering rams, just not super effective. Didn't want to waste the stone on spring gold emplacements, as, it wouldn't really be good against the archers. But then something you'll see here is my army had come marching in from the south. That Burgrave Palace had come in handy, and at this point, their town center is now simultaneously under assault as I'm focusing down their houses. Their villagers have been killed, the farms made useless, villagers inside the town center trying to defend. But the man-at-arms armor, significant health, just is a lot to deal with. Meanwhile, in my own base, getting a castle up. Lots of towers, so still holding off the enemy assault. Little did they know, they might have thought that there was a Burgrave Palace somewhere in my base. Maybe that's why I was defending it so hard. But really, I was just trying to keep the villagers alive. In their base, the town center goes down. Those villagers very quickly after, you'll see up there, will get attacked. And all the while, more soldiers being trained at the Burgrave Palace, and reinforcements coming to support my army as it is wreaking havoc. All the while, the enemy still with the ram rush, battering rams going for the towers, and very successfully taking down one, and then going for another one here, which I'm pretty sure got killed off. The archers absolutely destroying my villager count, staying at only 33 compared to my enemy's 38. Not a huge difference, but the fact that I couldn't quite get ahead was definitely a challenge. Their villagers in their own base dead, and then the reinforcements arrive, and the soldiers just, you'll see in a moment here that they finish the game. They go for that council hall here. The enemy's still focusing down the towers in my base, and then they realize that it was only farms back there, and at that point it was too late. As my army here goes for the council hall, one blow after the other, and it goes down. And that right there, that is game. That's good game, and well played by my opponent. Much respect to the strategy and what they tried to do there, and I probably should have lost that game. That was they kind of had that one in their back pocket, playing it really strategically, but that sneak attack did come in for the clutch win. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on some strategies you've tried with ram rushes, things you might have done different, or things you thought were noteworthy or interesting for you while watching. And yeah, thanks, and stay tuned for the next video.